Hello everyone. In the last video, we have seen what is query parameter and how to implement it in Angular application. And in this video, we are going to learn what's a fragment in a root and how to implement it. So then, what is fragment? Fragment is a directive and it's a specific section within a web page. It means in Angular application, fragment URLs are commonly used for a navigation to a specific component within a single page application, which contains a ID mentioned in the fragment. A fragment comes after hash sign. It means here hash about whatever is coming with hash symbol, it is a fragment. We can identify the fragment with hash symbol. So let's understand this with an example. So in our application, we can navigate from one component to another component by clicking on this navbar element. And we have placed each component in different page. So now suppose if we place all components in one page and on click of navbar elements, we want to jump to the respective component. Then how we can do this? We can achieve this functionality by using fragment. So let's write code for fragment. So what we did, we have placed this router outlet directive instead of this for selector. So I'll uncomment this selector and I'll comment this router outlet so that we can see all these four selector on one page. Okay, save the changes and go to the browser. Here, now you can see all four component on one page. So in order to implement fragment, first we need to specify unique ID for each selector. So I'll add ID for home component is home, for about is about, for contact is contact, and for playlist component is playlist. So this is our first step. And second step is, I'll delete this commented line and I'm going to copy all these four links and paste it below. And I'll comment the previous link. Okay. In our current application, how we navigate from one component to another component? By using this router link. So now we want to use fragment. So we will assign the router link value is empty string. Okay. So I'll delete all these path and here we need to remove this brackets because if you want to use bracket then we have to add single quote inside this double quote. Then only we can use the bracket or else we can remove that bracket. I want to place this router link active inside li. Okay, so that will get space here. Now the next step is to add fragment inside this anchor. So I'll add fragment with ID. Fragment equals to ID is different. So for home it is home ID. For about component the ID is about. For contact component ID is contact. For playlist component ID is playlist. So this is the second step we have completed. Since the fragment is a directive, you can also wrap it with square bracket. But if you are using square bracket, then you have to wrap this ID in single quote inside double quotes. Okay. So I don't want this square bracket. So I'll keep it like this. So save the changes and go to the browser. Now you can see once I click on a home element from this navbar, you can see inside this URL, we can able to send the ID of home component with hash symbol. It is nothing but fragment. Okay. So same for about, you can see hash about, same for contact and same for playlist. So this is how we can pass fragment to route. So now we will see how to get this fragment from route. So for that we need to write code inside app.component.ts file. And inside this TS file, we need ng-on-init lifecycle hook. And in order to use this ng-on-init lifecycle hook, we need to implement the interface of on-init. And make sure on-init lifecycle hook is imported from Angular /core package. Okay. So to fetch fragment from root, we need activated route. In order to use activated route, first we need to inject that route through constructor. So I'll inject it with private variable route of type activated route. And this will import from @angular/router package. Now inside ng on init lifecycle hook, we will call this route. So route dot, here you can see there is a fragment property. And once you over to this fragment property, it is the type of observable. And in order to listen observable, we need to subscribe to that observable. So we will add subscribe, and inside that we will write one callback function. So here first we will log the response. So here we will see what is coming inside the response, and then we will implement further code. Okay. So go to the browser and open the developer tool. So here, so you can see here, once I click on a playlist component, we are getting value playlist. Once I click on a contact, we are getting contact. Same for about and home component. So in the form of response, we are getting the ID of fragment. So the next step is we need to pass this ID to these all four selectors. So for that, I'll create one function here. I'll use the name is navigate to, and here I want to pass ID, selector ID of type any, and inside this method I need to write document dot get element by ID, and the ID is selector ID dot, here we need to add scroll into view method, because once we click on this navbar element, we want to scroll to that particular component. So that is why we are using scroll into view method, and inside that we need to pass one object with key value pair, and the key I am passing is behavior is smooth. So in order to execute this method, we need to pass ID, and where we are getting ID? We are getting ID in the form of response. So we need to add this navigate to method where we are subscribing to our fragment. So inside this subscribe method, I will call this navigate to method with ID is response. So instead of response, I'll add here fragment ID for our understanding. Okay. So we will pass the fragment ID inside this method. So now save the changes and go to the browser. So here on the browser, I load it first on localhost 4200. Now you can see once I click on about component, I am going to navigate to the about component. I add more data in each component for better understanding. This is the home, this is about, this is contact, and this is playlist. Okay. Okay. So click on about. You can see we navigate to about component. So similarly, once I click on a contact component, I am inside contact us page. Okay. So once I click on a playlist component, I am inside playlist component. I don't need to scroll the sections of about, contact, playlist, and home. So with the help of fragment, we can jump to the respective component on the page or respective section. And also we can navigate or we can jump to the respective component by this URL also. So right now I am inside about component, and if I want to jump to playlist, then I just need to write playlist and it will take me to the playlist component. So this is how we can implement fragment in our code. Okay, so what we did, we just commented the router outlet and uncomment the selector, and to pass the fragment to the root, we have added the unique ID for each selector, and the same ID we map with fragment directive inside the link. So with the help of these two steps, we can pass the fragment to the URL. And in order to fetch this fragment, we need to subscribe to the fragment first. And this fragment is a property of activated route. So we subscribe to that fragment and we pass the selector ID to that fragment using document.getElementById method. So till now we have seen how to use root parameter, how to use query parameter, and how to pass a fragments to a root. So that's it for today. Hope you understand the fragment concept. So if you learn anything from this Angular routing series, then please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.